Hello everyone, this is the Dungeon Master Husband. We're going to be listening to some more D&D Horror Stories. Please enjoy this video. DMPC overrun everything. Party doesn't seem to mind. I got invited to an in-progress campaign back in the spring with my girlfriend at the time, and I was super excited because the group seemed awesome, and the DM was very prepared and knowledgeable. A few hours into my first session with them, everything seemed to be going well. But I kind of raised my eyebrows a bit when we reached a social encounter and a few DMPCs started talking for the party. I sort of cut in and asked who they were, and the party told me that they had 3 or so extra characters along for the ride to keep them pointed in the right direction, and filled out for the team comp. This was a pretty big red flag for me. In my opinion, DMPCs are a no-no 90% of the time. But I was new, and it didn't seem to bother anyone else, so I figured it was just how they did things. Over the next few months, we had tons and tons of awesome sessions, and the DMPC thing wasn't really a huge issue. It only really came up every now and then, when one of them happened to be a way tougher and stronger tank than our paladin or fighter, or when a different one seemed to be the only party member with a connection to the world or the big bad evil guy, and was always getting on those sweet roleplay opportunities. Just the DM reading dialogue out loud. Other than that and a few stolen last hits, the only other strange thing he did was provide a player with an original character of his own with unusually high stats. Cut to about a month ago, we're gearing up for some kind of final confrontation arc with the BBEG, and he starts pushing the DMPC thing into overdrive. Every single session has 1 or 2 of them just walking out of the woods and asking to join the party, saying that we won't be able to beat the BBEG without them. At this point, we have 4 active PCs and 7 DMPCs. 2 that I think are the DM's original characters. 2 that are now inactive players that have just continued to level and accompany us. 2 that are named D&D lore characters, and an entire effing dragon. As the fights increase in difficulty, our characters die more and more, and the DMPCs always make it to the end and do everything cool. Man, that sounds so whiny. Here's one really bad example. The party had missed our long rest, and we'd gone 3 to 4 medium-ish encounters since the last one. All of the PCs were wanting to rest, but the DMPCs kept pushing to go into the dungeon, and saying that we could rest inside. Once inside, we asked to rest again, and the DM told us it was unsafe. So we asked to go back outside, and the DMPCs got mad at us. While we were arguing, a major boss showed up. I said out loud that we should not take the fight, since we were all on low health and out of resources. And then the DM told us that the boss is apparently one of his original characters' personal enemies. So he attacks, and we all have to roll initiative. 3 of the 4 PCs died nearly immediately. Mine was charmed for the first turn, and the 4th got knocked out. But the DM kept playing out the turns with the DMPCs versus the enemies until they won. Then describing in great detail how they dealt the killing blow and what they said during. This took more than an hour. In our most recent session, we were confronted with 2 dragons, way out of our league. 3 magic users, and some foot soldiers. The rest of the party settled for fighting some of the foot soldiers, while the DMPCs ripped through the cooler enemies. But I thought my character would want to get some of the glory himself, so I used a cool build to get him to the back line to attack one of the magic users. I coordinated with another party member to keep me healed up, made a strategy to deal with its special on death effect, and did almost all the damage. Finally, when it was almost down, I tried to blitz it with action surge plus extra attack, which he ruled meant 3 attacks instead of 4, but whatever, and left it on just a hair of health. As soon as my turn was over, he had the DMPCs run over and finish it off with a clearly prepared couple of lines about what the death looks like. With so many pieces in play, this combat encounter had taken north of 4 hours, and the PC spent the whole time shooting water guns and getting decked by high CR abilities. I know the obvious solution is just talk to your DM, but the other players really don't seem that bothered by it. They've all been playing together for years and rotate DM every campaign, and there's clearly a lot of love there, which is awesome. This one should be wrapped up and done pretty soon, but I just figured I would vent. I have never, ever seen a DM so clearly skilled and ambitious just turn a game into a solo RP experience before, especially not one with such a dedicated and attentive party. Guy makes a character that doesn't follow the rules, gets mad when he can't play it. This was a long time ago, but talking about D&D earlier today made me think of it. I'm paraphrasing, because I don't remember the exact details of the conversation. I was running a 3.5 D&D game, homebrew setting, and one of my players mentioned it to their coworker. Coworker wanted to join, player asked me, I say yes. Talked to the guy a bit via text and explained the rules of the setting and character creation, which variant rules are being used, significant homebrew, classes and races that aren't available, etc. He grumbles a little, but not too bad, when I mention that we don't include pretty much anything from Eberron, like the Artificer, Dragon Marks, pretty much anything. He says he'll probably play a wizard or something. I say cool, see you Saturday. My player mentions at some point that this guy seems excited, but shady, and we figure he made some gimmick or min-max character. Nothing we can't handle. Just says that it's a spellcaster. Not knowing wasn't that weird. Didn't give the situation much thought. Then game day rolls around. Dude shows up and has some kind of smug attitude. He reveals that he's playing an artificer. He explains, like it's some kind of gotcha, that he came from a portal to Eberron. His face drops when I reiterate that the artificer class is not an option. He continues arguing about the portal to Eberron and the D&D multiverse and crystal spheres from Spelljammer. He gets mad, I guess. He expected me to be like, oh, you got me, and storms out. From what I heard, he got mad again when he found out that his invitation had been retracted. DMPC has Holy Avenger at level 2. We kill him and take it for ourselves. DM quits. Horror from all sides that culminates in everybody losing. In our first session, we almost TPK from goblins. At the end of that session, we level up and arrive in a town where a paladin NPC joins us. The DM says, I'll help you out since it looks like you're having a rough time. Our next mission is to infiltrate a zombie bandit hideout under an abandoned mansion. At first it looks like another near TPK with the bandits hitting pretty hard, but then the DMPC pulls out his holy sword and smites everything in sight. Out of character, I know this is the Holy Avenger. I have to talk about how overpowered this is for level 2, and the DM says, well, do you not want the help? As expected, the DMPC paladin shines every fight, and we feel like backup dancers. This keeps going on until level 3, where we're all annoyed by this point. During the night, we plot to steal the sword. We stab him in his sleep, and the DM says, PvP is not allowed. You can't murder hobo your ally and steal a sword. I don't want to continue DMing for you guys anymore. Hey dude, where's the campaign? The title kinda says it all. I know it's mild, but I feel like talking about it. I joined a campaign around 1 to 2 weeks ago. We had a session 0. It seemed like we all got along pretty decently. I woke up on the day of the first session, and the Discord is gone. The Roll20 campaign deleted. I personal messaged both the game master and the other players with no answer. Hey, if you like this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. It'll help a lot. Until next time.